What is soundproofing? And what exactly does it do? That's exactly what we're going to go over today. Let's break it down, tell you about my studio, my build, and what are these things? What are these panels behind me? What is this above my head? Why are all these corners like this? What is soundproofing and how does it work? Let's get into it. What is sound? Sound is vibration. Literally, that's what it is. That's why when you're recording on all your DAWs like Pro Tools, Ableton, whatever you're using, FL, whatever you see your sounds, it's all waves because it's frequencies and vibrations. That's all that sound is. And it's very important to have a studio in a room where things sound real and pure and raw. And basically, the whole point of soundproofing is that if you say, yo, to a perfectly flat wall, those vibrations and sounds are hitting the wall and then coming right back at you. So it's very important to have a tight-knit studio that you know very well, and it's built for sound. That way you have the best mixes possible because you want to have the best sound and have nothing bouncing back at the engineer. We'll get into that a little bit more. We're also going to go over, the types of soundproofing and what exactly do they do. Let's get into it. A lot of people say, Eames, what is this? Is this a piece of art? No, it's not a piece of art, but it looks like it. But this is called a diffuser. And we're going to get into a little bit exactly what a diffuser does and why you would have it. This is another type of diffuser. And we chose to put it directly in the center of the room, right behind where the engineer sits, because the sounds come out of the speaker, hit the wall, and now they're diffused. And exactly what it's called is exactly what it does. So now if this is my vocal, just to give you a visual, and it's going to hit the wall and bounce back, now it's hitting these and getting diffused and disrupted and not bouncing back to the engineer. So it's also very important where you put these diffusers and where the engineer sits. You should always have your speakers a certain ways apart to where the engineer is sitting, to where your diffusers are as well. Because if you put these in the wrong locations, they won't do much. So that's what a diffuser does. It literally does what it's called. It diffuses sound waves so that they don't bounce back at you in the middle of the room. These are called bass traps. The reason all of our corners in the entire studio are slanted and at an angle is for bass. Basically, bass is a very large wave or vibration, and it's easy to get caught. It's large, dark, and it's easy to get caught in the corners. So for instance, you don't want your basses to get caught in all the corners and bounce back at the engineer once again. So the whole point of your bass traps is to have them catch the low frequencies that are bouncing around the room so that the engineer doesn't have to hear them, so he could give it a proper mix in the bass. Basically how you make them is breathable fabric. You could use rock wool, but I chose to use cellulose all the way to the ceiling above the drop ceiling, so it's full. And then I just framed it out and put everything over it. And that's how we have all of our corners in here. It was a lot of work. I don't regret it at all because it sounds excellent in here. The neighbors don't hear any bass. When you're in Studio B next to us, the other room that we have, you don't hear the bass at all. So I'm super happy with these bass traps, and that's exactly what they do. They just catch the bass. Soundproofing foam. This is the most common soundproof you will see in studios, whether it's home studios, basements, professional studios. And the reason being is that it's cheap, it's affordable, it's easy to work with, and it does what it's supposed to. But this isn't for soundproofing a room. For instance, it's not going to make the room more quiet. It's just going to catch the sounds. Like if I clapped in this room, you're not going to hear a reverb or anything coming off the walls or the corners right now. If this wasn't in here and I clapped, you would hear like a reverb. So it doesn't make rooms more quiet. Like if this was a regular room and the walls weren't 2 feet thick like crazy all around with multiple layers on top, if this is a regular office room or your bedroom and you just put this up, the people right next to you in the other room are going to hear you the same amount. So it doesn't make things more quiet, it just catches and makes things dead. So when you clap or whatever, or have your vocals, your drums in here, the sounds aren't bouncing back at you as you're recording. So that's the whole point of soundproof foam, is just to make things dead, not quiet. Double doors. Now double doors are really the only way to fully soundproof something. Especially like, where you're entering and exiting from. And the whole point of a double door is that the frequencies are going to go through this door. Now they're getting caught in this little crevice of just space, just air, right? And it's not going to bounce through into the next room because you have one door that's fully soundproofed. Then you have a little crevice for the sounds to get caught in, just space, just air. Then you have another basically wall in front of that. So that's how you soundproof doorways and things like that. It's really the only way to do it 100% is with the double door. Another instance of the double door is the one that we just installed. What was this, 2 days ago? I've literally been non-stop YouTube, just doing this every day for you guys. And the whole point of this double door, again, you don't need a crazy soundproof door like this or the ones that I have. You can just use regular doors as well and it will still do work. Not as much, but it will still work. And the whole point, again, is to have this space in between the two soundproof doors so all the frequencies get caught and to have it all sealed off. So when these doors are shut, it's fully sealed and no frequencies could come through. And that's the point of a double door in a studio and why you see them all over the place in every studio. So I figured since the podcast room is currently under construction and there's no sound deadening in here, it'd be a perfect example to show you what a room sounds like with no sound deadening or no soundproof in it, besides the panels we have behind us. And this is how it sounds. Listen to the reverbs of how the things travel across the room and bounce around. Yo! 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 And here's how it sounds in a mixing room where you still need a little bit of bounce back in certain areas, but most of it is deaded. Hear that difference? Yo! 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 And here's how it sounds in a room that's fully deaded. You're going to hear it immediately get silenced out. Yo! 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 It's very important to have a studio that sounds good so that the mixing engineer could give you the best possible sound and response off of what he's hearing. If you're in a giant room, it's very hard to hear what's going on because the sound is just bouncing all over you and there's like a reverb in the entire room. So when you build a studio, that's why I went absolutely insane with this one, because my last studio wasn't like that. And I had to mix through all the problems and know how to mix in the room, and it took a while to learn because I was, it was a brand new studio when I first started and it wasn't built like this. So that's why I put all my heart and soul into this build and why it's been taking so long, because I just want this to be the most ultimate, best, raw sounding room in all of New York. YouTube, I love you from the bottom of my heart. If you show love, like, subscribe, whatever you do, I greatly appreciate you. If this video helped you, I'm super happy. It's good to be helpful. I came from nothing. I learned this all on my own, and I built this all on my own. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to keep going. YouTube, I love you. Peace.